So how many of you have had to write JavaScript form validation code, right? So one of the things I want to challenge you to think about as I go through this talk is how much could you reuse that exact same validation logic inside your Java application? Yeah, there's more and more tools to do this kind of thing. One of the classics is Rhino. That's been around a long time. But in Java, in the VM, now standard in the VM, there's a tool called Nashorn. Anybody use Nashorn? So Nashorn is a much more high-performance JavaScript environment that's built into your JVM all the time. And I'm not talking to that. But there's also things like ClojureScript, which if you're writing Clojure, you can compile Clojure into JavaScript with ClojureScript. But there's also JSuite, which JSuite you can write standard Java and it will compile your Java into JavaScript that you can then put into your browser pages. So what about Nashorn? Nashorn, like I said, it's the JDK's JavaScript solution, ships standard in the JDK, in the Java VM. It's there all the time. And Oracle is putting serious effort into making it high performance. In Java 7, you had Invoke Dynamic. There's improvements going in every Java release to improve the performance of Nashorn. I won't tell you that it's at parity with Node.js, but the gap is closing. In many situations, it's going to perform, close to Node.js. But the big difference with it is you're in the Java VM. So you have access to facilities in the Java VM that just don't exist in Node.js, right? Node.js doesn't have threads. Right? There are no threads for Node.js. So anything you do with sending data back and forth between workers, you have to send essentially message objects and pass data by value. But let's say you have something like the disruptor ring buffer, right, which is a super high performance Java ring buffer structure. It's used like some stock trading applications use it. If you've got an 8 gigabyte in-memory data structure that you're sharing between a bunch of threads, that the threads are simultaneously manipulating that, you can't go handing an 8 gig object between workers, right? So you can do things with JavaScript in the Java VM that you just can't even do in Node.js, right? It's just not even possible. So a apples to apples performance comparison is hard to make because the facilities are simply not there. And how easy is it to get going? So these two lines kind of show you a super simple example of doing a little JavaScript. You can ask for a new script engine from the script engine manager. You ask for it by name, Nashorn. And then here you go engine eval, and you can put any JavaScript you want in there, and it'll run it. It will convert it to Java bytecode and execute it. But you can not only, spit something to standard out. If you instantiate an object in JavaScript here and return that, you're going to get back an object handle in Java that you can call methods on. And you can even pass Java objects into and have that JavaScript object call methods on your Java object, and it all works seamlessly, right? It's all just more objects in the Java VM. So that's one of the things I want you guys to think about is don't think about it as like there's JavaScript world and Java world. Java is a human language. The Java VM does not run Java source code, right? It runs Java bytecode. Well, Nashorn compiles JavaScript into Java bytecode. So JavaScript with Nashorn is just another way to produce Java bytecode. So if you already have validation logic, if you already have value in your existing JavaScript that you've had to write for web applications, before you rewrite it in Java, take a step back and go like, can we just use that? Do we have to rewrite that? And really think about that, right? Because if you get in the position of that you're not only doing your validation logic, let's say in your web application, but now you're talking about doing an iOS native app, and you're talking about doing an Android native app. That you're going to have to keep your Objective-C version of that validation logic, your Java version of that validation logic, your JavaScript version of that validation logic. That's all engineering hours, and those are all opportunities for failure, right? You can have drift between your versions, and that's how you get serious bugs in your platform. So you want to, don't repeat yourself, single source of truth. Can you reuse that code? And that's what isomorphic applications are about. It's ECMAScript 5. I think there's some ECMAScript 6 coming, but you can, you can run Express with Babel. Like you can use Webpack and Babel and produce with the transpiler. That will work on Nashorn. So you can use ECMAScript 6 constructs. They're just transpiled. So there's some performance considerations. But like I said, Nashorn is definitely under active development. Oracle definitely gets it that JavaScript in Java is a big deal, and they are pursuing that. Because, you know, the reality is for Java in the browser, applets are gone, right? Nobody's even thinking about it. I mean, before and now that even that they're officially gone, nobody was really that happy about using applets for a while now. So the web is just getting to be a bigger and bigger deal. And JavaScript is everywhere, you know, with tools like PhoneGap, Apache Cordova. Anybody ever play with that? You can build a simple web application and package it for the web store. You can put it into the Apple Store, put it in the Android store. So there's these powerful platforms that are emerging to let you move your code between all kinds of different environments. And you can get Node.js kind of style work with, yeah. Yes. Yes. So you should be able to call any method on any Java object from JavaScript using Nashorn. So anything you could write in Java, I believe, and I believe you should be able to, you can do things like manipulate threads from JavaScript using Nashorn. Like, you know, if you have a handle to those objects, you can call methods on Java objects. So anything you can do via calling methods on Java objects. You may have to do some casting. You may have to go, depending on, like, if you try to do something really low level. I don't have a pat answer in terms of, you know, will it be easy? But you should be, anything you can do in Java, you should be able to do in JavaScript. There may be some interesting things when it comes to getting, if you have, like, you know, a method that you're using casting, you know, that the type detection plays a big role in it. It may get a little complicated, but so you may have to do something like write an adapter class in Java that, like, gives JavaScript a little help in hand, just to understand the typing system.